All right, JHK here for Sportskeeda, and join me right now is UFC light heavyweight Modestas Bukauskas. Modestas, thank you so much, man, for joining me. The fight is getting really close. How you feeling?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, brother. I appreciate it. I'm feeling absolutely amazing. I mean, like every time it gets close to a fight, I get really excited. You know, you got the goosebumps and everything. You're visualizing everything in your head. So yeah, mate, I just can't wait to throw down now. Like the hard work has been put in. Still got a bit more hard work to go, but yeah, I just can't wait till it gets to fight week.
The fight was supposed to be in London. That would have been a nice little short trip for you, you know what I mean, to get into the arena, but the UFC, they switched it. Did they ever tell you why they switched it up? Exactly why? You know, COVID, of course, but did they tell you?
Nah, they didn't say anything. I mean, I'm just assuming it was because of COVID, because obviously, you know, our government here, they're not 100% sure of all the cases and stuff like that. So fair enough, they just wanted to safeguard it. And I think for the UFC's sake, they thought, do you know what, if we're going to have all this problem, we might as well just do it in our home, and that way we know there's going to be no trouble. So yeah.
You know, that would have been so-called home field advantage for you, but now you're going to his home field in Las Vegas. Is there something to that in fighting? I know in other sports there is, but in fighting, do you think there's anything?
Well, do you know what? It was only the main thing for me was obviously I get to fight in front of my hometown crowd. That would have been absolutely amazing, feeling the electricity of the crowd. Because still in the UFC, I've not fought in front of a full crowd yet. So that was the only thing, and obviously having the people cheering for you. But mate, I love Vegas. Like, do you know what I mean? When I went there last time, I love the whole experience. Just the way people are talking, the whole environment, the energies that I'm getting, getting taken around in a limo and that. So to be honest with you, I really enjoyed all that stuff. So I just love it because it's always historically like Las Vegas is the fight capital of the world. So for me, that means a lot. So either way, I'm happy. Do you know what I mean?
So when you land in Vegas, you feel that energy, that fight capital of the world energy?
100%, man, 100%. I don't know. I feel like a rush through my system. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of like one of them moments where it's like, yeah, you know, you've made it when you're fighting in Vegas. Do you know what I mean? So that's especially a guy, you know, that lives in London. That's an amazing feeling, and I definitely thrive off of that for sure.
For sure, man. A lot of UK guys on there. One UK guy that was on the card, he had to pull out Laurent Murphy due to visa issues. Man, did you have any problems getting your paperwork done to go stateside?
Do you know, I actually felt very bad for Laurent because I do know I have trained with him, like obviously, and stuff like that. I'm friends with him, and yeah, it was hard for me to see that, you know, the fight had to drop out for him. But obviously, I know he's going to be ready. He's going to get another fight coming up soon, so everything's all good. But for me, I was very fortunate and lucky that I'd already gotten a visa for my previous fight, and it's still valid till like next year. So they were just able to go off of that for the next fight. So luckily everything was done at, you know, just perfect timing really. So
unnecessary headache, man. As a fighter, you're in camp. You just want to focus on getting ready to fight, you know what I mean, and get paid, not those, you know, unforeseen circumstances.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, I can't imagine what it's like for some of the other, because yeah, it's like, imagine everything's set to go in London, and then literally 4 weeks, I can't remember how long it was before the event, then they said, oh no, we're going to switch to Vegas, and then everything's like a massive rush to go and get all the paperwork done. So yeah, I can understand how frustrating it is. But I think as a fighter though, you just like, again, you just embrace the process. You're like, it's part of the game. It's what you got. The same like media obligations and stuff like that. You know, you realize it's part of the game and stuff like that. And then I don't know, like me for example, you just learn to enjoy it. You just learn to enjoy the process.
For yourself, you know, your last fight was around 5 months ago. It was a split decision, very close fight. A lot of people picked you to win that fight, you know what I mean? Was that a tough pill to swallow, you know, when you got the decision and it's a split, man?
Yeah, I mean, obviously at first, you know, emotions are running high. You look back at it and you think like, where the hell did they see that fight going the opposite way? Especially when I definitely thought, okay, we've definitely got this one in the bag. And the next thing you know, they call the other guy's name. Like for me, it was a bit hard because obviously financially it's not good, and you know, another loss on your record is not good either. So all these things to be taken away from you, it wasn't a nice feeling. But as I've said before, you know, I think there was actually a lot of positives to take from that. You know, I've made even more changes in terms of my fight preparation, which I wouldn't have made had I won. So I'm actually very fortunate in that regard. that it sort of forced me to make some other changes even to my training. So I'd already made some adjustments since that last fight before, and now I've made even more adjustments, which makes me even more dangerous. So, you gotta just see it from the positive side. Although watching it back, looking at the significant strike differential, I landed more, and stuff like that, and seeing the amount of response I got from all the other, just friends and family, but like people that I didn't know saying that they thought I'd won and stuff like that. Obviously, you got like mixed opinions and blah blah blah. But even to see I think like on all the media outlets, even a Polish site said that he thought that I'd won. So it was quite obviously, yeah. When you see all that, the only thing that was like sort of quite fulfilling is that loads of people. It's still that caused a lot of people talking. So it's good to have your fight being talked about. And for most people to think that I won, it's like although I lost, it still goes in my favor. So. And watching it back and everything, it's like I fought a good fight, but I tell you what, I can fight a hell of a lot better, which is obviously where I'm at right now, leading into this next fight.
Yeah, and the UFC, they definitely believe that you could fight better because, man, back to back to back, big names, I believe, in that division, either a prospect or someone that's established. Khalil Rountree is another guy, probably the most recognizable guy you faced so far in the UFC. You've had back-to-back southpaw, so it's probably pretty good for you to prepare in this camp, right? Left-handed guys.
Oh yeah, 100%. Having a southpaw, exactly like a similar style in terms of he likes to strike more than to wrestle. He's an absolute big name. Like for me, it's almost a bit like where your idols become rivals sort of situation. Because I remember watching him actually like. As I was just turned pro, I remember watching him fight in the Ultimate Fight, and I always was fond of him. And watching him on Joe Rogan's podcast, and the next thing you know, he's going to be standing in front of the cage in front of me. So it's an awesome thing to fight such an amazing athlete and get to go and test myself and go and put my skill sets on show against him. So yeah, obviously very looking forward to that.
What did you think of his last fight? Kind of a similar situation to you. In your last fight, he lost a split decision, I believe, but a lot of people thought he won the fight. What did you think?
Yeah, I mean, I thought in terms of volume, maybe the other guy just edged it because he was throwing more. So in my opinion, I was like, if it went to the other guy, like it would have been fine. But obviously, he had a massive second round, where he dropped the other opponent and stuff like that. And he definitely had, I think, the more damaging shots. So obviously that could have played a part into it. I thought obviously he fought a very good fight. He mentioned afterwards, it's been a long time sort of coming, like there's things that needed to be changed and blah, 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 and stuff like that. So obviously that was almost just like that first segment. So I know he's obviously going to be even better leading into the fight with myself, but I'm fully prepared, fully aware of that, fully prepared for it. And obviously I'm looking forward to throw down. But yeah, I definitely think in a lot of people's eyes, you could have seen that he won the fight just from throwing more damaging shots.
I saw you made a switch. You're working with a different team. What differences do you see with the new team?
So obviously it's nothing to discredit my previous team. They did a hell of a lot of good things for me, especially on the defensive side. And they got me to the skill set, added a lot of skill sets that I didn't have, and I'm very grateful towards that. But there just comes a time in your career where you need to make certain changes and adjustments in order for you to bring out the best of yourself. I've been talking about it for like a year and a half now. I just want to show people the best of what I'm capable of. And, realistically, in the last fight, I was able to show more and more on that. But there's still, that other bit of unlocking that I needed to do. And the team that was going to bring that best stuff out of me is the new team that I'm currently with now, because I think the discrepancy in skill set is the margin's small at this level. Do you know what I mean? Like there's a lot of guys who can strike, a lot of guys who can wrestle, and a lot of guys who can do jiu-jitsu, and we're all very well able at each different art. Obviously, everyone has their sort of strengths and weaknesses and blah, 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 but everyone is efficient at each area. So, but you got to find a way to use your skill set the best. Like Yuri Prohaska has his own way of doing things and stuff like that. That's why he's such an amazing fighter. And I think everyone has that within them. And I definitely have that within myself. So with this new team, I'm just able to utilize my skill set in a more efficient way, in a better way possible. And yeah, you're gonna see more of my skill sets being shown even more. It's just, sometimes it's almost like a mental lock, or like you haven't practiced it enough for you to be able to do that, or you need a bit different guidance and stuff like that, which is now what I'm getting. Now working alongside with my dad, the new coach, Mickey. And I've got amazing training partners as well. I've got a room full of guys who are on their way up. They're young, they're hungry, they're pushing me. And, you know, it's not often that I'm the shortest guy in the room, and it's not often that I'm the oldest guy in the room. So it's nice to be in a dynamic where the team's really good, the energy's great, everyone's trying to, you know, beat each other, but we're great friends afterwards. That's the type of energy you need leading into a fight. And obviously, I'm very grateful for that. And it's definitely been a key move to the success that I'll be having on September 4th.
That's wild to me. You said you're the oldest guy in the room and you're only 27.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, aside from the coach and everything, but like I'm talking in terms of fighters, the oldest guy in the room. Is mad, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. And you know, you talk about the margin is so narrow at the top of the game. It's almost like whoever shows up that night, right? Whoever kind of has the best camp and, you know, those little, I guess, tangibles when you head in, right?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, the mental game is another big important thing. You know, you've got to be confident in what you're doing. And the confidence just comes through the preparation. So, again, the preparation will lead you to being confident, which leads you to go out to do more things in the fight, which can then obviously lead to you firing things off and getting the win. So, yeah, it's very small margins, and that's what makes this game so interesting. You really don't know who's going to win or lose, and you know some guy might be losing the fight, but then can come back, and different things. There's so many different like you say variables and stuff like that. So that's why I love this fight game, man. And I'm really willing and ready to sort of put my full self out there, really embrace it all, and just yeah, man. Every single time I'm getting better. Every single time I'm putting on a better performance, and you can definitely expect the best performance to come out in the next fight.
A lot of people are expecting a banger, man, because you guys both can strike and you guys have serious power. What are you expecting? What type of performance out of yourself?
I'm expecting the most composed I've been, the most efficient I've been, the most well strategized I've been. I've always went in there with a calm mind, with a good mindset leading into the fight. But I think having even more experience and stuff like that, working things a bit better, I'm just going to come in there even more confident. It's going to be absolutely explosive from the first bell. You can expect it to be, like you said, an absolute banger. He's going to be throwing shots. I'm going to be throwing shots. We're going to be testing ourselves against each other, and you can expect the most explosive fight from me. And like I say, the part where I'm able to really and fully show all of my skill sets, and I'm really looking forward to it, man. I've gone in with a mindset of literally kill or be killed. I know it sounds a bit dark, but I really don't care if I die in there. Like, for me, I'm ready to go out there and just put it all out on the line. So that's where I feel I'm going to compete at my best, and that's what everyone can expect on September 4th.
UFC 267 is coming up October 30th. Jan Blachowicz versus Glover Teixeira. Give me your thoughts on that matchup, and what do you think is going to happen in that fight?
Yeah, very interesting matchup. I feel obviously Glover Teixeira always seems to have the grappling advantage, but in this fight, I don't feel that is the case. Jan Blachowicz was able to stop takedowns against Souza. I feel he would probably be able to do the same here, and also on the ground. They're both very well able on the floor. Teixeira may have a little bit of an advantage there, but not so much of the advantage that he's had in his previous fights. And the striking, I mean, listen, Teixeira loves to stand and bang. So does Jan Blachowicz. I think Blachowicz it seems like he probably has a little bit more power. He's a little bit younger. It'll be a very interesting fight, but in my personal opinion, and obviously since I'm being European, I think Blachowicz will take that fight and remain the champion.
I almost just see Teixeira wanting to just oblige the stand and bang, with Blachowicz to kind of just test him out. Be like, hey, do you really got the chin? Do you really got the power? Fair play to him. I mean, he literally goes in there and fires off against some of the best strikers and then comes through with it. Do you know what I mean? But I think Blachowicz, with the strikes that he'll be able to land, like usually Glover was able to recover, but I'm not so sure against Blachowicz. And like I said, that'll be the interesting thing to see whenever the fight goes down. You make a great point, man. If Blachowicz cracks him, can he recover? Because he's done it many times in the past few fights. But I don't know, man. That legendary Polish power.
Trust me, I felt it as well. So I know what it's all about, man.
Now, your first two fights were on Fight Island. You keen on going back to Abu Dhabi? It could happen, after this fight, if you come back out clean.
I mean, listen, if I come out unscathed and everything's all good, mate, I would love to fight. It's in my goal, I want to fight as much as possible. Go out there, put on the performances. But yeah, whatever comes through for me, I'm taking things day by day. Do you know what I mean? At the end of the day, I've got that fight in front of me. I've got to concentrate on that, put everything into that fight, and then see what happens. You don't know how you're going to be feeling afterwards. You don't know what things you might need to do or whatever. But I definitely 100% want to get one more fight in this year at least, and if not, we can go for two. So at the end of the day, man, like I freaking loved Abu Dhabi. I freaking love Vegas. Anything with the UFC, man, I'm loving it. So yeah, man, I'm just enjoying the whole process.
John Jones, he's been gone for so long. It's almost like we're starting to forget about him a little bit because he hasn't been in the news right after his little spat with the UFC. Do you think John Jones, because a lot of people feel like he's never going to come back and fight, do you think he comes back and fights for the UFC?
I'm not 100% sure, to be honest with you. I think for every athlete, they want to fight for the biggest organization. They want to fight for, like an NBA basketball player wants to play in the NBA, football player wants to play in the NFL. That's where they're like, that's where I can create my legacy and this and that. Obviously, to go throughout pretty much his whole career undefeated, I mean, it's an amazing feat. No one's ever done it before, aside from that one loss. But again, like I say, most people know that he was really winning that fight anyways. So it depends where the money is as well. I guess at that point in your career, you've pretty much done everything, got all the accolades and, won the title, done everything there is to be done. Do you want a different challenge somewhere else, somewhere where they might potentially pay you more money? But, at the same time, he hasn't fought in quite a long time. So it might be a case of, okay, well, let me get that fight, get my foot back in the door, go and win at heavyweight again, and then go and start getting more money from that as well. So, but I think he will come to the UFC. UFC is his home, man. Like, he's made his whole career in the UFC. I think although he wants to get what he's worth, I think he's also a very competitive person who's always looking for the biggest challenge. And I know that obviously he does feel that the biggest challenge will come in the UFC and also at the heavyweight division, which is a division that he's yet to be seen for him. So, yeah, I definitely think he'll come back and he's got a truly tremendous skill set. So when everything is all right and everything falls into place, I know he'll be back out there making an impact for sure.